Look, this is how much this brand was making from their welcome flow in 30 days. And right here is how much they made in the next 30 days with the updated welcome flow that my agency built for them. But it wasn't a lucky accident. We get similar results with every brand we work with at Luck & Co. across all their email marketing, from welcome flows to abandoned carts and to campaigns. So how did we go from an email flow barely making $1,000 per month to over $15,000 after just 30 days? Well, what do you think? What is the difference between these two email flows? Here's the wild part. It came down to one single A/B test. And while our send volume went up, which also helped, what really moved the needle was our conversion rate jumping from 19% to over 36%. I really can't put into words how worth it was to spend those extra 3 to 4 hours researching and brainstorming the angle for these tests. My process is yet to fail me, so I'm going to share it with you today. If you're not A/B testing your welcome emails, you're literally leaving thousands of dollars on the table every single month. In this video, I'll break down exactly how to set up impactful A/B tests, not just in the welcome flow, but across your entire email and SMS marketing. First, we'll identify what elements are most worth testing. I will share over 7 different examples of tests that we've run with exact results and numbers, so you will want to take notes. Then I'll show you the exact framework we use to ensure that our tests are statistically valid and actionable. And finally, I'll reveal the biggest mistakes that most e-commerce brands make when A/B testing and how to avoid them. By the end of this video, you'll know how to create email marketing that doesn't just perform well, it dominates your revenue metrics. Let's get started. Let me start with something that might surprise you. Everyone thinks that A/B testing is about button colors and subject lines, but the real money is in what you test first. Let me show you what I mean. The most impactful A/B tests and variables to test. First up, offers and discounts. This is where the big wins happen. Remember that huge revenue jump that I showed you? Let me show you exactly what we tested. Look at these numbers. In our welcome series, we tested something that sounds tiny, 10% off versus 12% off. The brand owner didn't want to go above 15% off, but was open to testing this weird number, 12%. You don't see that much among welcome discounts, and that's exactly why it worked. The results? Not only did the 12% off get way more people to subscribe through the pop-up, 711 versus 58, but they also converted better, 36.7% versus 32.8%. And that small difference adds up to thousands in extra revenue. By the way, offer tests usually start with testing the pop-up. And if you want to learn how to create a pop-up A/B test in Klaviyo, check out the video that I'm linking on the screen right now. Let me give you a few more high-impact offer tests that have worked really well for our clients. Test 2 different percentages, like we did with 10% off versus 12% off. Sometimes a weird number like 17% off can catch more attention than the standard 20%. Compare percentage off versus dollars off. We've seen $30 off outperform 15% off, even when they're the same amount. People love concrete numbers and they like big numbers. Free gift with purchase versus discount. This is huge for skincare and beauty brands. Sometimes a free sample converts better than money off. Free shipping with a threshold. Test different minimums like $50 versus $75. This can dramatically impact your average order value. Finally, mystery offers. These are fun. We've seen unlock your mystery discount get twice the engagement of regular offers. Test any of these and you're looking at potential conversion rate jumps of 20% or more. Just remember, pick one, test it thoroughly, and then move on to the next. Before we move to the next test, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Particle, the ultimate platform for taking the guesswork out of growing your business. Particle allows you to analyze your competitors and access their real-time sales numbers, right down to each product and variant. Let's say that I run a skincare brand. Using Particle, I can analyze competitor sales data, spot top-performing products, and see how their pricing or discounting strategies affect sales in real time. It's like having insider knowledge for your niche. But that's not all. Particle also tracks marketing performance. Want to know which channels are driving the most value? Particle's insights help you focus on the strategies that bring the highest ROI. Plus, you can use their price distribution analysis to nail the perfect price point or uncover trends your competitors might be missing. Basically, if you want to stop guessing and start making data-driven decisions that actually grow your store, Particle is a no-brainer. And hey, I've got you covered. Use the link in the description for a 10% off discount your first year. Now back to email A/B testing. Here's where it gets really interesting. Some of our biggest wins come from completely rethinking how we position things. I call these positioning or content tests, and they are absolute gold. Check this out. This test is from an abandoned checkout flow. Variation A is your standard abandoned cart email. But in variation B, we completely changed the angle. Look at what happened. Click rate jumped 38% and the conversion rate literally doubled. And we didn't just get lucky. Here's another example. This brand sells compostable drinkware. Instead of the usual here's our products approach, we tested 2 different ways for people to self-select what matters to them, by product feature or by drink type. Not only did this increase clicks, but now we know exactly what each subscriber cares about and can follow up with targeted content. Let me show you something simpler, but just as effective. Where you link in emails. Look at this email campaign A/B test. The 2 variations are exactly the same email, except in variation A, we're linking to individual products, while in variation B, those same images link to the collections page. For this brand, that one change led to a 25% increase in conversion rate. And the best part? This test takes literally 2 minutes to set up. You just duplicate your original email and swap the links. Now, there's a lot more that you can test. Email layout, images, even subject lines and send times. But here's what most people get wrong. They start with those small things first. Don't make that mistake. Test the big stuff: offers, positioning, and user journey. That's where the real revenue is. But here's the thing. It's not just about what you test. If you don't set your tests up right, you could actually be making decisions based on bad data. Let me show you exactly how to avoid that. Let's talk about the frameworks for valid and actionable tests. You know what drives me crazy? When I see brands run a test for a few days, get excited about early results, and completely change their email strategy based on bad data. Then they wonder why their revenue drops a month later. Let me show you exactly how we validate our tests at Look & Co. It's simpler than you think, but you have to get 3 things right. First, and this is absolutely critical, you need enough data. Let me show you why. For our welcome flow example, look at these 2 variations. Variation A had 711 recipients and variation B had 58. Can we really trust that comparison? Actually, no. The difference in the sample size is too big. Here's what you want to see. At least 1,000 people in each variation, and at very, very minimum 500 people. Yeah, that many. And roughly the same number in both groups, in both variations. Why? Because that's when percentages actually mean something. The second thing is time. Your test needs to run for at least 2 weeks, ideally a month. Look at what happens when you don't do that. Week 1, variation A was crushing it with a 15% conversion rate. The client wanted to stop the test right there. Thank God we didn't. By week 4, variation B had completely taken over, winning with a 23% conversion rate. Why? Because different types of customers shop at different times. Some people buy right after payday, others wait for their credit card cycle to reset. If we'd called this test early, we would have picked the losing variation, and that's a mistake that I see brands make all the time. And here is a third framework or rule that people constantly break. Only test one thing at a time. Check this out. This brand tested both the subject line and the offer in this email. Sure, variation B1, but we have no idea if it was because of the subject line or the offer, or maybe both. Now we have to test everything again, wasting weeks of potential revenue. But here's where it gets really interesting and honestly, kind of shocking. Even when you follow all of these rules, you can still get it completely wrong if you're looking at the wrong metrics. Let me show you 3 expensive mistakes that are probably costing you money right now. And trust me, after working with hundreds of email programs, I've seen these cost companies thousands in lost revenue, sometimes tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Mistake number 1, Looking at metrics in isolation. Check this out. The subject line, huge sale, up to 75% off, and a fire emoji, got a 45% open rate compared to the original 30%. The client was ready to pop the champagne. But look at what happened to the rest of our metrics. Click rate dropped from 12% to 8%, and even worse, the conversion rate got cut in half, from 4.2% to 2.1%. Why? I think that the flashy subject line attracted window shoppers, not serious buyers. The original subject line might have had a lower open rate, but it brought in people who actually wanted to buy. This is crucial for abandoned cart emails and win-back flows. Sure, last chance types of subject lines might get more opens, but if you're trying to rebuild trust with a customer, that subject line could destroy your long-term revenue. Mistake number 2, testing random things without a hypothesis. Here's a plan for a post-purchase flow where the brand was just randomly testing different things. Instead, we asked one simple question. Why aren't people making a second purchase? Then they surveyed their customers and found out that people weren't sure which product to try next. So we tested product recommendations based on first purchase versus bestsellers. That's how you run strategic tests that actually move the needle. Have a hypothesis. Based on that hypothesis, think of the variations and go ahead and test them. Mistake number 3, testing the wrong things first. I see brands spending weeks testing button colors when their core offer isn't even optimized. Remember that 12% versus 10% off test that I showed you at the start? That one change made literally thousands of extra dollars per month. Start with the big stuff. Your core offers, email sequence structure, and positioning and messaging. Get those things first, get them right, and then you can optimize the smaller details. But you know what's worse than all of these mistakes combined? Not testing at all. Every single win I showed you today started with someone saying, I wonder if. Don't overthink it. Start with one strategic test in your welcome flow right now. That's how you build a revenue-generating email program, one smart test at a time. So there you have it, the exact framework we use for A/B testing that actually drives revenue. Let me quickly recap what matters most. Test the big things first, your offers, positioning, and user journey. Get enough data, at least 500, better 1,000 people per variation, and always look at metrics in context. If you found this helpful, like this video and hit the subscribe button because in the next few weeks, I'm going to share the welcome flow template that's getting 20% or more conversion rates for our clients. And yes, that's with the real data that I will show you. Also, drop a comment with what you're testing in your emails. I would love to hear about your learnings. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Check out the video description for useful links. Check out Particle, the sponsor of this video, and I will see you in the next video.